Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me again for another episode of MN Style Guide. I am Marcus Hall, and my guest today is Mr. Shannon Harper. Shannon Harper from Porsche Audi. I can't name them all. There's so many of them now, but one of the reasons I wanted to have you today, and I'm going to let you introduce yourself, but one of the most important things about style, I do believe, is a car. A guy can have amazing style, but when he takes it to the next level, he's going to have a really cool watch, and most of all, he's gonna have an amazing car. So, Shannon, I'm going to let you take it from here, my friend.
Yeah. No, I mean I couldn't agree more. I mean I think the
Well, tell me about yourself.
you
Tell,
all right,
tell,
all right, all
tell me who you
right.
are.
Yeah. Second generation
That's right.
car dealer. We got 7 dealerships and car washes and
Right
body
on.
shops and all the other fun stuff
Right on.
and everything automotive related. You know, we try to have a holistic approach where we have something for any of your automotive needs. We try to be there for that. So
So I drive an Audi, which was your wife's car
yeah,
first,
yeah,
because I can't afford a new one. But I'm driving a Q8, which is probably one of my favorite cars I've owned.
yeah.
And I'm thinking about trading it in, but let's talk about first. What's your favorite car, Shannon?
I think when looking at cars, it's the whole picture,
Okay,
right? I
right.
mean, it's not just the luxury and the performance and the brand. It's all those things kind of pressed together. And there's lots of good car brands. I mean, Maserati does a lot of things really, really good, and Audi does a lot of things really good. A lot of them have their kind of unique perks, but to me, Porsche does everything really, really good.
Right
That
on.
I feel like they're the complete picture in terms of brand
Okay.
heritage with racing, but also performance, luxury, style. They really kind of have it all, the whole package.
So I noticed you're representing Porsche today as well, my friend. So and you drive a Porsche, and
Well,
so
Porsche's got the best swag, so it's like, um,
right on.
well, so we started. My dad he bought the dealerships from a guy named Roddy Rogers.
Okay. Here and
Yeah,
okay, right on.
Rogers Cadillac.
I
They
remember
were
that.
like
Yes. All right. I'm Roddy.
at one point, Roddy Rogers was the oldest Cadillac franchisee in the South. Like
Wow.
he'd been a dealer for forever.
Yeah.
And Roddy had every single different car line, and my dad was coming off Ruby Tuesdays, and he was getting out of that, and he was sitting down with Sandy Bell trying to figure out what he wanted to do, and
Right.
he was always a car guy, and he bought Porsche, Audi, and Jaguar from Roddy Rogers in '81.
Wow.
So Porsche has always been kind of a staple.
Yep.
My mom's dad was a big Porsche guy. My dad was always a big Porsche guy, and so there's that heritage there that's generational. That's something that most brands don't have.
So speaking of Porsche, when I was growing up, the two cars that I always like, I love these cars, was the convertible Mustang
Yeah,
65,
yeah,
and I have one of those. I bought and restored it, and it's beautiful. And Porsche 911, man.
yeah.
So those are just really cool. So I feel you on that note. And Porsche is one of those cars, very similar to Mercedes. Like it's not obnoxious, but it can. They
Yeah,
have some that you like, yeah, to the moon.
yeah,
But if I were going to, not like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, they're very classy, but still strong and beautiful cars.
yeah. I mean, I think Porsche slots underneath Ferrari in terms of obviously price point, but uh, brand value. Porsche
Right on.
ranks up there. They have these brand value rankings, right? Porsche's up there with Ferrari in terms of brand value. Um, but they're also, they're inclusives. So
Right
they want
on.
everyone to
Yeah.
come and enjoy. They have something for everybody.
Right on.
Porsches are a very approachable, uh, but you can start here and then you go up the
Like with the
list.
Boxster, you know what I mean? It's like kind of
Yeah,
the
the Boxster, the
introductory, and then
Macan. Then
yeah,
you get the Bug. Then you're
yeah,
like, oh, I need this, and then
yep,
you start. I mean, they have racing. They have classic So we do a lot of classic restoration, and we have guys that that we have guys that are old school Porsche Club guys. Are getting these cars restored, and they're just passionate about the brand. I mean, they love it. They every weekend they're talking about driving their Porsches or doing tinkering with them. And then we had a person that's this gal. She's a social media influencer, and she saw the Macan Electric in this color called Provence, which is like it's a gray with like a lot of purplish hues to it. It's
Right on.
not too far off this, but she saw that in the Met Gala. She's like, I want to order one of those. So we had a Porsche girl who's like sees the car at the Met Gala, and then you got the old school Porsche guy who doesn't even know what the Met Gala
Met
is.
Gala is right on. Yeah.
So
Wow.
it's such a brand that appeals to so many different audiences, and I think that's neat.
So now, I follow you on social media, so I see these um, projects you just had, which I'm sad that I didn't go to at the quarry, where you had all of these different. Now, are those your personal cars?
Some of them are.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So now, you don't have to answer this question. How many?
we got about 12.
So you 12 Porsches or cars?
12 Porsches.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
we've been building that up because that I think that the classic restoration business is a huge business.
Okay, that's true.
And Porsche supports it.
And it's tough to find like actual. I mean, it took me almost 15 years to get my Mustang restored because one guy had it, he didn't finish it, and so that's really tough. So, do you guys do restoration?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, that's awesome.
We really kicked it off a few years ago. Porsche had these challenges. They gave us a year, and it's really hard to restore a car properly in a year, and it's very expensive. So they had these challenge. They challenged the dealers, said whoever can restore these cars the best, and they have a national competition. You win a prize and an extra allocation of a car, right?
Okay, right on.
So they mobilized all these dealers to get involved with this, and we started off kind of small, but now we've really realized this is kind of a halo piece that attracts these guys that want to bring their cars in for a mild to a major restoration. We can do that. What's different, what's tough about Mustangs with Ford or Jaguar or pickup brand is getting parts from the manufacturer. Jaguar doesn't make that convertible top anymore.
Right on.
They don't make that steering arm.
Yeah.
Well, Porsche has this classic department where they still produce all these parts.
Oh wow.
So instead of having to go get some
aftermarket, which is what, and that may or may not fit properly, and then you have to tweak it, which is exactly what happened to me. You got it.
So we're able to get the parts and get the proper stuff, and Porsche supports us with Porsche Classic training. So we got these, 30-year-old or 30-year veteran Porsche techs who are trained on Classic as well, who know the old school way of taking a 1975 Carrera motor and tuning it up and getting it going. So
that's awesome.
Really
and so this wasn't something I wanted to touch on, but as a small business, growing business, and it's cool that you had your dad to kind of mentor you and then pass the baton along to you. One of the biggest issues, and again, this is not something I wanted to talk about, what we're talking about is you seem to have like this amazing crew of people. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like you just talked about your techs or whatever. How are you finding these people, and how do you keep them happy? Shannon? It's like I'm like, it's driving me crazy, man. Trying to grow, you know what I mean? And then but in a healthy rate, but then bringing people on and training them and keeping them. We may have this conversation, and I'm upset, but there you go.
It's 100% credit to the corporate culture established by my dad,
right
and today is the 3-year anniversary of his passing, and
today
is.
Oh man, wow, that's man. Thank you for joining me today, and that's got to be hit home, man. Wow.
My wife Emily was we took the kids to school this morning. She was riding me a little bit about my driving or whatever, and I remind her of that. She got a little nicer to me after that.
You had something on your mind, man. That's real, man. Right on.
But he established this corporate culture that was so anti-establishment of the traditional car dealership. He was all about how would I want to buy a car and how would I
Right
treat
on.
people,
Okay.
and
I like that.
so um, to keep that going, I mean, 100% of our managers, 100% are promotions from within.
Okay.
So the corporate culture starts at the bottom, right? I
Yep.
mean, I'm trying to think how many of our general managers started washing cars.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Wow.
like half of them,
I heard that. That's cool, man.
at least half of them.
Hmm.
So that's has you establish that culture, and then you home grow it. Nobody gets to a leadership position without kind of going through
Going
that,
through the ranks.
going through
Okay.
the going
Right,
through the grind.
right on, man. I like
So
that.
yeah,
I like
it's
that.
I have people call, and as I said, I'm sure you're super qualified. You're probably way more qualified than you're probably way smarter and way better than I am.
Right
And
on.
I'm like,
But this
but
is
we
what
don't hire top level positions. We 100% promotion from
that's
within.
something I will put in my pocket, man. And you think about it, it takes longer, but once you've established that, then you've always got someone coming up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you've always got someone, and then they learn how to do everything from, like you said, why the detailing to
yeah,
the car knowledge to all that good stuff, man. And so,
yeah,
and they've kind of naturally talked the talk all that time. And so when they get to the leadership position, huh,
yeah.
okay, man.
It's kind of we have a very my dad really set out to create a very as stress free as possible environment, but also a safe environment. Nobody's worried about their job.
Right on.
When
Okay.
people know they have job security,
Okay.
they know they can come to work and not run on, having to play the political game or walk on eggshells. It's like, I know my job is secure.
Right
The
on.
company's secure.
Well,
They believe me, that they encourage me to make mistakes. Humility and hard work are some of our kind of core. We have 7 core values, and I could list them off, but it'd be boring. But humility is one of those important things of like, hey, we all screw up,
yeah, that's
and
true.
this encourage.
Right on, man.
Failure leads to success.
Hey, man.
So
I feel like I'm talking to an old man right now,
I
Shannon.
just listen a
And
lot.
you,
I just listen.
I
30,
feel like I'm talking. That's right on,
yeah,
man.
40
Well,
years getting drilled into it by my old man.
your dad, right? So that's cool, man. So again, man, I had no idea, but the conversation was going to come up about your dad,
Yeah,
and I feel like he passed away fairly young too. You know what I mean? Like I
yeah,
don't think he was. And I recall you had a much better relationship with your dad, but my dad passed away really young too. So I'm missing something we have in common, man. I'm very grateful. And the last thing I wanted to touch on is, man, you're so active in the philanthropic community, man. I just want to say, hey, first of all, thank you because I've called on you many a time, and I'm shocked you still answer my
yeah.
phone calls.
I'm always happy to. Always
And so,
happy
man, we're appreciative. But where does that come from, man? Why do you give so much? And
to. You know, yeah, but so back two people I would say, this one, my dad, he was very philanthropic in terms of he had his own charity he started, and it was 100% donation charity where every dollar went to indigent cancer patients in Blount County, and that was his big push. Um, but got to give credit to Big Jim Haslam. I mean,
all right, yeah, yeah,
that guy, if he hasn't inspired a business leader to give more to the community, like you haven't
man,
even talked to Big Jim,
yeah.
right? Because he just he
He is
commands
that
this
whole family is
respect,
a
and
giver. Yeah,
he's walked the walk.
yeah,
And
yeah.
when he picks up the phone and asks you to do something, it's like I think it instills uh, that sense of community and the
Amen.
importance of giving back. And you're not if you're not serving your community, they're not going to serve you.
Right on. I
Type of
feel you on that
mentality.
note. Right
So
on. I believe in that too. I also believe in supporting people that support me. You know what I mean? That's kind of a thing, right? That's what
yeah,
makes a community
yeah,
is that it's a relationship. Like you give and they give, and that's what keeps your business. That's how you learn. That makes a safer community.
yeah,
We employ people.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And the whole deal from the education and the school system. So I'm with you on that. And on that note, let's talk about Knoxville, man.
yeah,
Isn't it cool where we are right now,
yeah.
man? It's like we got you and all these dealerships and cars that I didn't think we'd ever have in Knoxville. like Maseratis and you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, and now we've got this stadium in downtown Knoxville is like a designation place, right?
Yeah.
You're like
Yeah.
destination rather. I'm sorry, but wow, it's cool, man.
Knoxville, sometimes I complain about the traffic. Then other times I say, well, traffic means that's growth.
Right. Amen.
That
That's
means
part of it.
we're doing something right.
Right
Because I'd
on.
rather be
Yeah.
growing than dying.
Then dead, right?
Yeah.
There you go. That's the reality of it all. So
Um,
it's really cool, man.
but Knoxville is it's got so many strengths, and I think it's got good leadership. I think people are so much more welcoming. I think we got good leadership at the university. We get good leadership, civic leadership, people that are welcoming to new ideas and welcoming to growth, and not trying to just, well, Knoxville always needs to be the same way it was
Right on.
in
Yep.
1957, like
Yeah, right.
the
That's
kind of
correct.
Cass Walker days. But there's an interesting stat. In late 1800s, Knoxville and Atlanta are about the same size. Right? William Wheeler wrote a big book on this. And Knoxville and Atlanta are on the same size, and the leadership on the two cities made two different paths, right? And there's a reason Atlanta is what it is, and Knoxville is what it is.
Right on.
And so
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because leadership is so important. Leadership in the community and the city and the county and everything.
I agree with you, and I'm 54 in June, and so I've seen what you're talking about, like the different categories of leadership, and some that are more business, oriented and looking to bring more business to Knoxville, and then there was this stagnant stage where after the World's Fair, you probably
Yeah.
do you remember Jake Butcher? You're not old
Oh
enough.
yeah,
Do you,
yeah.
right? And so I think he was, obviously he got in trouble and
Yeah.
changed the dynamic of the whole city, but there was this, 20 year stance where we were just kind of just
Bumble
tread, you
along.
feel me?
Yeah.
Treading water, not really any major growth, but with the exception of obviously the University of Tennessee has always been killing it. So
Yeah.
there you go, man. Well, Shannon, man, thank you for
Thank you.
joining me today, man.
Yeah.
This has been amazing, man, and I'm proud of you and grateful for you, brother, and have an amazing life, career, family, and keep growing and doing amazing things, my friend.
Keep helping me with my style.
All right. All right, oh, man. Have a good day.
All right, thank you.
Until next time, we'll see you again on the next MN Style Guide. Bye. All right. Thanks, man. See, easy.